Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode with iTrek. Big shout out to all the iTrek fan, man, tapping in like you always do. I appreciate you guys. Today, per usual, I have a handful of interesting and creepy videos for us to go ahead and check out for ourselves and kind of evaluate whether these are fact or fake. If you haven't already, smash that like button for me, smash that subscribe button, and let's just jump straight into these vids.
The Imperial Treasury of Vienna attests that this is a real demon that has been trapped in glass since an exorcism that occurred in the 17th century. It is regarded as one of the few true evidences of a successful exorcism. It is described as a demon trapped in glass that was driven out during a possession and banished to this glass, and it is widely believed that the devil could take possession of a human body if released.
Now we'll go ahead and call cap on that right off the bat. I'm pretty sure you can't encapsulate demons inside glass or any kind of stone, but if you know something I don't, drop it in the comments.
Another myth that's being overturned is that humans do regenerate. We just regenerate slowly. We can't grow back an arm or a leg or a tail, but we can actually grow back our liver. We can grow back our lungs. We can even grow back parts of our brain, which is really, really amazing. And definitely we grow back our nerves.
These are people whose identities are a complete mystery. So Banksy, the world's most famous graffiti artist, is completely anonymous, with nobody to this day having an idea of who he or she could be. Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin, has never revealed his identity, and he's currently sitting on 1.1 million Bitcoin, which is equivalent to $100 billion, making him the 12th richest man in the world. In the late 1800s, there was a man dubbed Leatherman who wore a 60-pound leather suit and walked from Connecticut to New York every single year in the same exact path in the same amount of time until his death. Rasputin was a Russian mystic who became an advisor to the Tsar family, but many people believe he had superpowers because not only could he heal people, but when they tried to kill him, they poisoned, shot him multiple times, and beat him, and he wouldn't die until they ultimately drowned him and trapped him underwater. The creator of the Voynich manuscript, a strange book from the 1400s that nobody's ever been able to read, was never identified, meaning this entire book can never be read in the history of time. And finally, on the internet side of things, Corpse Husband, How to Basic, and You Suck at Cooking all continue to remain a mystery, as they've never face revealed and likely never will. Pretty cool, right?
And you know what? That is kind of cool. To be famous and anonymous sounds like a complete win to me.
The most dangerous animal in the world is man, because other animals will hurt you if they're hungry or it's their nature of hunting. But man can turn into an animal in no time. All he needs is permission. As soon as permission is given from higher ups, from government, it accelerates. Even a hint of permission that it's okay to attack this group or exclude this group or shame that group. It's happening. It's never stopped.
Whatever's running this thing that we're in, it's not some board of, some archon sitting at a boardroom table. Okay. It's being run, there may be entities of some kinds, but it's being run essentially by an artificial intelligence. If we're inside a quantum computational system, that is being at least managed by some super AI, which already exists. I mean, it pre-exists us. What I argue in Closer Encounters and in other books of mine is that this artificial intelligence that's managing our simulacrum has a problem with these Nordics that have established this control system. It sees these Nordics as having set up an evolutionary bottleneck, that human evolution, especially social and psychological evolution of mankind, has been choked off and suffocated by these overlords.
Government does shut down at midnight. You might feel it at airports in particular all across the country. More than 58,000 TSA employees and 13,000 air traffic controllers would be working at that point without pay.
For travelers showing up at airports tomorrow or through the rest of this week, impact is likely limited from a government shutdown. But if it continues longer than, if it's measured in weeks or months, that's when people need to prepare for delays and disruptions. And I'm basing that off what we saw back in 2018. That was a 35-day government shutdown that started in December, and it was about 2 weeks in when officers missed that first paycheck, where we saw TSA sick calls start to climb at airports across the country. That resulted in longer wait times, closed checkpoints, and in one case in Miami, they had to close an entire terminal because they didn't have enough officers to staff it. Now, TSA officers are not high-paid government workers, so missing a paycheck can have a profound impact impact. Air traffic controllers would also work without pay. In January of 2019, air traffic control sick calls resulted in significant disruptions to flights in the New York City area shortly before the shutdown ended. There is a shortage of controllers, and during a shutdown, hiring and training of new hires generally stops. That will slow efforts to get more controllers on the job as quickly as possible. Amtrak receives federal funds but is operated as an independent entity, so the railroad says service there should continue as planned. Travelers heading to national parks will likely be in for disappointment. Most of those parks will be closed to the public during a shutdown. The U.S. Travel Association estimates the cost of a shutdown to the U.S. travel economy to be about $1 billion a week.
There's definitely a ton of delays. You want to be safe out there. There's a ton of people posting about waiting an extra 5, 10, even 12 hours. So yeah, it's already wild.
So this healer magically reverses pain in up to 80% of the people he sees, where he's leaving doctors completely speechless and scientists scratching their heads. Listen as Charlie shares his story and why he's being called the miracle healer.
I finally said to the head doctor, listen, if they're in this hospital, they are for me. You just need to give me a chance. Please just give me someone. And he goes, well, we do have a woman on the next floor, pain in her neck, and you could try that. And I said, well, yeah, that's exactly what I would like to try. So I went in, and within probably 6 seconds, I had her pain-free. And he was like, whoa. And then the floodgates opened, and that doctor took me for room after room after room, to the point where by the end of the study, I was in a room working on people and it would be full of doctors watching. So from completely ignored to it was like, it got exciting. I took however many people in pain in that study and I relieved 80% of them and had them out of the hospital. Isn't that all we could hope for? An intervention that works, that has no side effect? Because regardless of what you believe, SIBA or genuine healing, people are still getting pain-free. So it's important because there are so many people in chronic pain, so we want to help them.
Why all these celebrities have been showing up with what looks like to be a hidden ankle monitor? Perhaps this has something to do with what P. Diddy has gotten up to lately, because it's not just Oprah who has one of these. Ellen DeGeneres and many other celebrities have been caught with what looks to be an ankle monitor. And this goes into the whole boot phenomenon, where some people theorized that they actually had to wear these to hide a ankle monitor beneath them because of a secret court order, but they also had to show up some days with a boot on the wrong foot to be like a secret reveal to the public that they had been compromised somehow. They even got Arnold on here. This was all even reported on in the news. And then there was this weird moment on Oprah's show where all these celebrities showed up and they all raised their hands the same way. Here, I'll show you the full clip because I thought it was super weird. He does not look happy to be here. There was the two hands there.
Now that's definitely interesting. I had no clue that they all had ankle bracelets, but if that is a real thing, it seems like it's just a matter of time before it's all disclosed anyway.
May have just leaked that Ye is planning to build a city nearly 4 times the size of Paris in none other than the Middle East. In a now deleted listing on his website, a graphic reads, Drome 100,000 acre V1 city, recruiting project managers, engineers, architects, contractors, and builders. And if you're thinking, there's no way he could pull it off. Well, what makes it interesting is that in 2020, Ye already tried to build his own mini city in Wyoming, but his plans were quickly shut down by the state. But then recently, not only has he been spotted spending a load of time in Saudi Arabia, but in a long rant at his listening party last weekend, he let it slip that he's been speaking with Mohammed bin Salman, aka the Prince of Saudi Arabia, and the main person behind all of the country's new projects and cities like The Line. Oh, and also the man who controls one of the largest public investment funds in the world, worth $700 billion. So yeah, doesn't look that impossible anymore. And then when you start to piece all of the other things together, like he wanted to run for president, he filed trademarks earlier this year for the word drone, which has classifications for everything that residents of a city would need, including clothing, electronics, cosmetics, toys, jewelry, restaurants, alcohol, building materials, medical equipment, metals, and even legal.
I mean, if Ye builds it, he might be onto something. Who knows?
There's a reason the government's favorite tech company is named after a dark magic seeing stone from Lord of the Rings. It's called Palantir, and its mission is to connect every piece of data about you into one master file for the government. Their software, called Gotham, takes all the scattered pieces of your life, your driver's license, your social media, your location history, even your private messages if subpoenaed, and transforms it into a single searchable web. The U.S. has spin spent over $1.9 billion on it. The Department of Defense uses it. The IRS uses it to hunt down taxpayers. They can build a detailed profile on you based on anything, from your immigration status to the tattoos on your body. And because the algorithm is a secret, they can flag you as a security risk and you'll never know why. The company's own CTO said their goal is to become the US government's central operating system.
Who do you blame for the division?
I do believe that social media is a cancer, and it is taking all of our worst impulses and putting them on steroids. It is driving us to division. It is driving us to hate. These algorithms that have captured our very souls, they've captured our free agency, these dopamine hits that get our young people and our old people addicted to outrage and hate that serve us up on a regular basis, are absolutely leading us down a very dark path.
A path through platforms that look like civil war, powered by algorithms, programs written to amplify posts of rage.
The algorithms are absolutely destroying us. Once they know what your political leanings are, then it's like a pack of wolves that just attack. We have this collective problem that we can't solve because we're all sucked in and we don't know how to get out.
Now, as he explains it, social media is a complete detriment to society. I might disagree with that just a bit. I feel like social media does, one of two things. It's either driving you deeper into poverty and, a negative mindset, or it's enriching you and it's making you wealthier financially and otherwise. So it just depends on, where your head's at, because there's a lot of people that are using social media to their benefit. So it just depends, what you're using it for.
The world is run on a lot of secrets. If you're precognitive, you could also get information about things you're not supposed to know about. Our intelligence agencies have continued to work with remote viewers. Remote viewers are gifted enough to get that classified information without clearance. We do experiments in the lab to show that statistically significantly over and over again, you could show precognition is a real effect. It's really hard to say that any particular case wasn't just a coincidence.
Dr. Julia Mossbridge. She is the Human Potential Research Lead for the telepathy tapes. She is a cognitive neuroscientist. She studies exceptional human performance, including psi effects, precognition, presentiment.
I have trained people to be excellent precognitive remote viewers who did not believe in it at all. There were thousands of premonitions about 9/11 that are really compelling. Some of them saved their life.
How do you teach someone to be a remote viewer?
Everyone should know this, by the way. Everyone everywhere in the world. If you're bitten or stung by something with venom, if you want to track how it is affecting your body and how it's spreading, take a Sharpie and circle the redness and puffy area as quickly as you can.
Okay.
Wait an hour and circle it again. Wait another hour and circle it again. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever. If you can see that it's growing and spreading, it means you're having a reaction to the venom. If it stays that size, like, when we get a bee sting, you get a big red welt, right? If that continues to grow, it means that you're having a reaction to that venom and you need antihistamine.
Hey, the more you know.
Here's a weird question for you. Why does time only move forward? Why can we not experience time backwards or see time all at once? Think about it. You can move left, right, up, down in space, in reality. But in time, we only move forward 1 second to the next. So why does reality seem to play out this way? Well, physicists point to entropy, the idea from the second law of thermodynamics, that in a closed system, disorder tends to increase. For example, a glass falls and shatters. The reverse almost never happens. That gives us the thermodynamic arrow of time. Also, Einstein's relativity shows that time isn't absolute. For instance, time dilation happens near black holes or through very high speeds through space. Time moves slower relative to someone else, and different observers through this time can disagree on what now in time actually is. But physics alone doesn't settle this problem. Philosophers like Heidegger say that our experience with time does not feel like a straight line. He says it is circular in a way, what he calls factical life, which means your past, your present, and the future all influence each other. Your past, for instance, shapes who you are now. Your expectations of the future, for example, death or loss, motivate what you do now, and your present choices loop back to reinterpret your past. or how you remember it, and shape how you imagine your own future. Heidegger explores this in his book Being in Time and also in his earlier works called The Phenomenology of Religious Life, where he considers how the Christian life, hope, and beliefs structure time with a future-oriented expectation, what he terms the parousia, in Greek meaning arrival, rather than a linear death that typically most people think of. But he also asks, linear with time in respect to what? Time, for example, might be linear relative to clocks or relative to physical change or memory, but that does not mean time itself is linear in all aspects of life. Some thinkers go further, like in quantum mechanics, the many worlds interpretation. Time, for example, might branch out into many different timelines of existence, but we only experience one, so to us, time might look linear. So do we really move through time, or is time more like a landscape we traverse through our own minds?
Spent 191 kilometers and 102 hours without getting out of the water. I can sleep while swimming. Yes, it sounds crazy. Everyone was talking about it. Let me tell you how it works. I can only do this at night because I need the light next to my swimming line. While a part of my brain is recovering, sleeping, the other one is still awake and has to analyze the intensity of the light coming into my closed eyelid. The stronger the light, the closer I am, higher the chance to strike the line. On the opposite, the darker it gets, the further I'm getting into the darkness of the Mediterranean Sea. So while a part of my brain is sleeping, the other one is just adjusting. It sounds crazy, but actually it's an hypnosis method that I've developed over the years that allow me to swim for 5 days and 4 nights and do what no other human beings has done before under these conditions. If you have any questions regarding my world record attempt, please drop them in the comments and I'll answer them tomorrow. It was Noam Yaron. See you soon.
Do you know how dangerous that sounds? It's just like somebody saying falling asleep while skydiving. I mean, at a certain point, you gotta wake up and you gotta be alert or it's all over for you.
Ever seen a fish with its own built-in flashlight? These are flashlight fish, and those glowing spots under their eyes aren't just for show. They're filled with bioluminescent bacteria that make them shine in the dark. What's really cool is that they can switch off their lights by covering them with a flap of skin, just like blinking. Watching them swim feels like looking at stars floating in the water.
I don't know. Tell me why they look like the demon fish of the sea. I've never seen anything like it.
Meditation is that powerful, man. Like, he was really good at yoga. He was like incredibly good at yoga. He like almost just did yoga. And I think that if you've done yoga, you kind of get it. You find a little divinity in there, man. There is something about your body and connected to the ground. And it's why zealots make like that illegal, because it does have a little divinity in it. It does connect you to the infinite and makes you feel more than just a singular skin sack with its own mortality. You feel like something bigger than that. But I think you get that at a concert. I think you get that at church. I think you get that in a myriad of ways. And I do think that if focused and concentrated on, it can do insane shit, like make you climb mountains. You know, he climbed K2. He like was this incredible mountaineer too. And it's super attractive. I think we all agree that when somebody does honestly believe that they can talk to God, you're like, what do you mean? Come here for a second.
Now, she was talking about Aleister Crowley. Now, what God does she think he was talking to?
State of Colorado has to pass legislation to make sure they can protect your brainwave rights. Your brainwave privacy is at risk. The U.S. just took its first big step towards protecting it. Colorado passed legislation to prevent companies from selling your brainwaves. Companies like Meta and Snapchat exploring neurotechnology and Apple patenting a future version of AirPods that will scan your brain activity through your ears.
These AirPods can now measure your brain signals. Apple secretly developed this new patent that uses electrodes to read brain activity. They could soon learn how you listen to music and even help you focus.
So let me pull up the patent for you guys so you guys can see it. This is the patent. As you can see right here, the assignee is Apple. Biosignal sensing device used for dynamic selection of electrodes. But on section 14, the wearable electronic device of claim 10, wherein the biosignal is an electric activity of a brain of a user. And so what is this claim 10? So you go to claim 10 here, it says figure 2 depicts an example of wearable electronic devices such as an earbud and describes here in the accordance of its embodiment. So let's go to figure 2. These little electrodes here, those are brainwave signal electrodes. So they will be reading your brainwaves.
There's no 13th floor in any hotel in America.
What?
Pay attention. There is no 13th
That's
floor.
such bullshit.
I'm serious. Google it right now. Chat, Google it.
Yeah. It's true.
They take that floor away from every hotel.
Why?
Because it's demonic. Because it's just bad luck. Tons of people have died on that floor in the 80s and 90s.
What's so interesting about that clip is I was downtown Los Angeles in one of those huge skyscraper buildings. It had to have been maybe 50 or 60 floors. And the gentleman that was working in the elevator told me something similar.
Anybody tell me why there's declassified documents from the CIA showing that our human bodies have liquid crystals in them? The same crystals, just like radios use to pick up frequencies. Isn't it a coincidence that neuroscientists have just launched a whole study showing that our consciousness, gut feelings, actually can time travel? So does that mean that our consciousness is picking up radio signals or messages from the future? Interesting. There's a fire.
I just want to let you know that your car light is on.
Hi, you are currently being recorded.
This is why you should always have a doorbell camera. This creepy video comes out of Phoenix, Arizona. And according to the family, this person came up to their door to warn them about their car light being left on, while someone else was lurking in the background. But after they eventually left, she checked her car and there was no light on. So she posted it to warn others in her neighborhood. But this next video is even more terrifying, and it comes from Della D, I'll tag her below. And she was awoken at 4 in the morning by a Ring notification. And this is what happened. Take a look.
At 4:16 a.m. a random woman walks up to my doorway acting strangely. She starts looking inside my glass door, then does this.
Say no to drugs, all right? Just say no.
Bill Gates claim smartphones, smart devices are all going to be replaced by these electronic tattoos.
Getting a tattoo can actually save your life. And not only you can take this tattoo on your skin, but also on your organs. And they are ideal for monitoring our health, including muscle activity, heart diagnostics, blood pressure, skin temperature, and much more.
2013, former DARPA director Regina Dugan went on stage and casually showed off an electronic tattoo.
And it has an antenna and some sensors embedded in it.
No passwords, no fobs, just a signal pulsing beneath your skin.
Tattoo that could be used for authentication.
But when the key is your body, what happens when the lock changes? They don't need to convince you. They just need to program the next generation.
10 to 20-year-olds don't want to wear a watch on their wrist, but you can be sure that they'll be far more interested in wearing an electronic tattoo, if only to piss off their parents.
First, they'll brand your skin, then they'll rewire your biology.
So I take a vitamin every morning. What if I could take vitamin authentication? It means that my arms are like wires, my hands are like alligator clips. When I touch my phone, my computer, my door, my car, I'm authenticated. What this means is that becomes my first superpower. I really want this superpower.
They'll sell you your own enslavement, one upgrade at a time.
He's like, yeah.
Yes.
You can tell he's banged a couple of gangs in his days.
It's gonna be a gangbang like you have never seen.
No, sorry, Bob. I'll pass. I'm good.
UK citizens will soon be forced to have digital IDs. Otherwise, they will not be able to work. They won't be able to fly. They won't be able to take trains. Pretty much, they won't be able to do anything without digital IDs.
And that is why today I am announcing this government will make a new free of charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this Parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that. Because decent, pragmatic, fair-minded people, they want us to tackle the issues that they see around them. And of course, the truth is, we won't solve our problems if we don't also take on the root causes, looking upstream to tackle poverty, conflict.
Guys, in all actuality, they want to make you slaves. They want to control your every move. They want to know everything you're doing, and they want to make it where you absolutely need them. It's slavery. Don't fall for it. Don't come into a place of agreement with it. It's coming. But have no fear, brothers and sisters. Just get closer to God.
Make no mistake about it, it's coming to every country near you. The worst part about it is there seems to be no option given. There's no kind of choice involved. It's either you're doing it or suffer the consequences, which is pretty wild. If you're being honest with yourself, it's pretty wild. But definitely chime in the comments below. Let me know what you think.
Yo, bro, cartel. Yep, I knew this would happen. Damn it. Yep, they're blocking us in. They're fucking blocking us in. Fuck. Hey, call your cousin.
I don't know, I was looking for...
No, you're good. I'll just back up. Just back up. Fuck. Oh shit, my bad. I didn't.
What are you doing?
The light's green. The light's green.
Get out of here. Bro, just get us out of here.
What should I do?
I don't know.
Should I hit the gas? The light's green. Should I go?
Yeah.
Oh shit, It's not
right.
It's in park.
Right.
Oh shit.
Yeah, get out there.
Yep.
Get out there. Yeah, we'll try again next year.
Yep, we out.
This is the creepy. So I live in an RV and we have like a creek and like property out there. Let me show you what I see from my window. So when I look at my window, there's old fencing and then there's like black tarp stuff that's kind of hanging on the leftover posts. Okay, no big deal until you get to that one. What? Tell me you see what I see.
Made a promise that would cost him his comfort forever. In 1970, Amar Barati had an epiphany and made the life-altering decision to quit his job, leave his wife and children behind, and dedicate his life to the Hindu god Shiva. 3 years in, he felt he was still too connected to his old life. So as a sign of devotion, he raised his right arm and it hasn't come down since. He says the first couple of years were extremely painful, but he remained devoted and eventually his arm lost all feeling. It's now been over 50 years and even if he wanted to lower his arm now, he can't because his tendons and ligaments fuse together, keeping it in that position.
Talk about dedication, but I wonder if he regrets it right about now.
Why are we spending billions of dollars going to the moon when we have so many problems right here on Earth? Some say we need a backup plan, climate change, nuclear war, or a solar flare that could wipe out all of our digital infrastructure, which is actually pretty scary. Others say it's about jobs, or the economy, or maybe it's just human nature to go beyond the map and to understand ourselves. But for me, the answer is right here. Phone cameras. They trace back to NASA's Galileo and Voyager missions, and they were built originally to explore deep space. And there's countless items that we use every single day that was developed originally for space. Maybe only a few of these moon proposals will actually leave Earth, but each unique approach could inspire new innovations. And maybe the act of exploring space might just be how we discover better ways of living right here on Earth.
Boy, was she calm, right?
John Wicks from now on are going to be completely AI. So Keanu Reeves is going to stay just like he looks now for the next 200 years if that movie's popular, if that franchise is popular. There's a lot of crazy.
Do they have to pay Keanu?
Yeah. He's most of the celebrities now are having themselves, modeled or whatever.
Protected AI wise.
Yeah, so that they even their estates will be able to license them into films and stuff. It's pretty crazy stuff.
Years ago, Jerry Seinfeld said he didn't meet a lot of women that he liked. He said, "So when I like someone, I don't care about her race, creed, or national origin. If I like her, I don't care. I don't discriminate. If she's 18 and she's intelligent, that's fine." So when he saw a cute girl rollerblading in Central Park, New York, he went up to her. Shoshana Lonstein was 17, in high school. Jerry was 38. He took her to dinner, they went to a basketball game, but they didn't start dating until she turned 18. He would pick her up from high school, they would hang out, he really liked her. She went to college in DC and you would see him on campus, and then she transferred to UCLA in Los Angeles to be closer to him when he was filming his show. After 4 years, they broke up, and Jerry seemed pretty sad about it. There was a rumor he proposed in an interview with Vanity Fair. When they broke up, he said, "We were very in love. The timing just wasn't right. I almost married Shoshana." Poor Jerry. In the interview, he said, "I don't want my wife to work. I've had enough career for both of us." Shoshana said it was hard living in LA. She missed New York and, she just wanted to have fun and play. About a year after their breakup, she began designing and she started her own clothing line called Shoshana.
The shadow government just created a loophole to clone your money with cryptocurrency, and I'm about to expose it. The Genius Act that just got passed into law allows banks to create stablecoins, effectively duplicating your money. If a bank issues you a stablecoin, they're allowed to take your money that you give them and invest it. So just like when you put your money in a bank, they go and invest it, they can do the same thing with a stablecoin. And they actually usually put it in treasuries earning a yield. So this effectively duplicates the money. You give them 1,000, they take your 1,000, they put it in treasuries, and then they give you a synthetic 1,000 in the form of a stablecoin. Ever since this got signed into law, we have seen the most rapid stablecoin adoption I have ever seen in my life. As you can see right here, China adopted it. Ripple is doing deals with BlackRock on their RLUSD stablecoin. We have the first US state-issued stablecoin, so literally a state launched a stablecoin. They actually said that the yield profits were going to go to building the education system, which is insane. France is launching their own stablecoin. We have literally 9 European banks coming together to create their own euro stablecoin. I mean, it's getting really out of control. And it's really getting out of control when the CFTC wants to let stablecoins be used as collateral in the derivatives market. We're talking about access to $12 trillion worth of capital. So this is how it used to work. You have your money in a bank and you pay with a credit card or a debit card. Simple. And in crypto, it was bank. Then you have to put your money into Coinbase, and then maybe you'll get a stable coin, or maybe you'll get an altcoin that increases in value, right? Now, every single entity, Coinbase, banks, US government, and every other government are doing everything in their power to get you into stable coins. And see, this is the beauty of this. We have so much institutional adoption of crypto that the potential energy for it to go into altcoins are going to be bigger than we have ever experienced before. And because of how ridiculous this is, what happened is that the Treasury is literally like, hey, we can't do this right now. We need an extension. So on September 19th, they released an advance notice of proposed rulemaking seeking public comment on how to implement many of the law's provisions. So they literally have not started yet. Combine that with the fact that the world's biggest stablecoin, Tether, wants to raise another $15 to $20 billion, and they're hiring very strategic people to build their company. Right now, Tether is top 15 holders of US treasuries globally, and this can move them to top 12 to 14, and I'll explain the significance of that. But basically, the government really likes Tether right now. PayPal is literally integrating their stablecoin with the decentralized markets, and Circle is testing a feature where they could reverse a transaction. Basically, you send the stablecoin, and if they don't want it to go through, they could reverse it and get it back, which we have not had in crypto. They want to control this stuff and make a lot of money off of it. The shadow government is moving. You have to understand why they want these stablecoins to be adopted, and there's 2 main reasons. Number 1, the banks make a lot of money off of the yield, and it increases their control over consumers. And number 2, there's a whole bunch of new purchasers of US debt now. So what they're doing is duplicating the money, giving you the synthetic crypto version, and taking your cash and putting it into government debt, the treasuries. They're injecting it back into the US government. This is a duplication money hack that the shadow government is using to move their agenda forward, and crypto is the beneficiary. Crypto is going to benefit.
Interesting part is the benefit of cryptocurrency was supposed to be privacy. But with stablecoins, it seems like, it's like secretly being pushed in there that, you're going to have your privacy, but as long as you're using these stablecoins, not at all.
It's getting a little crowded on China's Tiangong space station. Earlier this week, China's Shenzhou 15 mission lifted off from the Gobi Desert. The spacecraft, which was crewed by 3 Chinese astronauts, also known as taikonauts, docked 9 hours later in the Tiangong space station. The station is now at max capacity with 6 taikonauts on board in total, and it's also reached its max configuration with 3 spacecraft and 3 modules. This will only last about a week, however, because the Shenzhou 14 crew will head back to Earth. The next 6 months, though, will mark the last phase of construction for China's space station. China has been ramping up its space program for the last few decades, so the completion of its space station is a huge achievement to the program. It also ends the ISS's legacy as the only continuously operating station in Earth's orbit, and when the ISS retires in 2030, Tiangong might be the only station floating above Earth. However, in the past 2 years, China has allowed 4 uncontrolled re-entries of its rockets, sparking criticism from NASA and other space institutions. But China won't stop at Tiangong. The country has 3 moon missions set for the next decade, and they plan to build their first lunar base by 2028.
Now, here's something you definitely don't hear about in the news. I had no clue China was doing it like that.
Is it introduced
colleagues or?
Well, Beyonce, she admits that something takes over her when she performs. You know, others have made, you know, they've made pacts, you know. There's always going to be those individuals that are willing to do that, you know.
Why would they do it though?
Power.
Why do they think they're going to get power? I mean, if they don't think that they get power from God, Christ, the Holy Spirit, why do they think they're going to get power from Satan or Baal or Moloch?
Chinese might have just discovered aliens and no one is talking about it. In 2023, Chinese astronauts swabbed their space station, froze those swab samples, and sent them back to Earth. When scientists looked at those samples, they found something weird. One of them contained a bacteria that has never before been seen on Earth. They're calling it Nyalia tiongoniensis, a microscopic rod-shaped bacterium found on their control panel that has some pretty weird qualities. For one, it can survive in microgravity and break down nutrients in that environment. It can create a protective biofilm around itself and even, and this is the crazy part, repair itself from radiation damage. But where did it come from? Well, we're not sure. It could be an Earth bacteria that evolved in space, or it can be an alien bacteria that made its way into the space station. It does seem to have a cousin bacteria here on Earth, but they're genetically different, so scientists aren't sure. Does this count as an alien? Let me know what you think down in the comments, and follow me for more interesting science videos.
Elon Musk is now the first person ever worth $500 billion. His net worth skyrocketed recently thanks in part to Tesla stock. Now he's on track to become the world's first trillionaire by 2033.
I just got some wild stuff that I think was lace, and then ever since, I haven't felt the fucking same. And it's called depersonalization or something. And ever since then, I felt like I'm not actually like living my life, just watching it happen. Rolled up, I was like, call my fucking mom, like all this, but I feel like shit.
How long ago was that experience, the bad experience you had?
Probably 5 years ago.
Now that sounds pretty bad. I mean, he can see himself living life, but he's not actually living it. I'll definitely pass on whatever he was on.
So a question I get asked a lot is, how do slugs make love? And the real question is, how don't they? And the answer is normally. So as you know, sea slugs are like boneless snails. They're nudibranchs, they're gastropod mollusks, or as you know, sea slugs. This one's a Spanish dancer who was in Finding Nemo. They come in many colors. And they also come in many colors, and in a second I will explain. Sea slugs carry both teams' equipment. They pitch and catch, but of course, they can't just do it to themselves. Sometimes two slugs will exchange the nectar of nativity to each other and head on their way. Some, like the leopard slug, will suspend themselves in midair off a string of slime and intertwine themselves while exchanging baby batter. The reason they're upside down is the leopard slug's little slugger is so big and girthy, they literally need gravity to help the slug's baby arm fall out of its head. I am the first member of my bloodline to say that. Oh, and that blue stuff's exactly what you think. Some slugs have two Johnsons, one for what you'd expect, and the other to stab their partner right between the eyes to inject a substance believed to brainwash the slug into accepting its love juice in particular and not someone else's. Traumatic insemination is the name, and that's not the worst thing that can happen. Sometimes two slugs get their Twizzlers stuck together, and the only way out is for one to chew the member off the other. It happens so often, there's a term for it, and pray your night never has to end on some apophilation. Or you know, and no one asked me to do this.
Somebody that tracks your license plates is about to start listening for your voice. It's a new feature from the surveillance company Flock Safety called Human Distress Detection. Thousands of their high-powered microphones are already installed in cities across the country. They were sold as simple gunshot detectors. Now with what could be a simple software update, they're turning into a citywide listening network. This is the same company that was caught sharing its massive license plate reader network with ICE. According to one source, 99% of Flock alerts do not result in any police action. And in Chicago, a child was shot at by police who were responding to a false alert from a similar system.
I've been asked to read the face of a gal named Bianca Sensori, and I'm so sorry. I really don't know who you are. I don't watch the news. It makes me cranky. So she's a newsmaker, but I guess she's married to Kanye West. These pictures are difficult because they're so makeup up, and there's so much makeup on this gal. It's hard to get a good, clean reading. So from a health standpoint, a lot of the things that are covered up are just that. They're covered up. I can't read it. But we can still tell a lot about her face. A beautiful woman. Striking, actually. And the strikiness comes from these strong jaws, and yet there's a point to her face, to her chin. So she's a combination between a king face and a fire face. So she is a very sensitive leader. King faces, they're natural leaders, see both sides of the fence, like to have their own way, get a little cranky if they don't get it. And then she's got that sensitive nature. Just a wonderful trait, to be quite honest with you. Then we like to look at the right and left sides of the face. The right eye is what we show to the world. It's our public persona. It's our mother's influence. influence. The left side is her true inner private self. When you cover up that left eye and look at that right eye, she is very intentional. This gal has purpose. She knows what her purpose is and working towards it. When we cover up the right and show the left, there's just a hint of sadness there. Have to do with a male? Probably. It's pretty common to see a female have this kind of an indicator. Her ears are somewhat forward facing, so this is a sign that she kind of hears everything but sometimes doesn't listen. Not an uncommon trait in king faces. Their way is usually the right way. I hate saying that because I'm married to a king face, but that is the nature of the beast. She also likes to hear her own voice. That's the other aspect of that. But notice that the ears are actually different sizes. She probably had some tough upbringing.
Well, you guys, hey, that's another one in the books, man. I appreciate you guys for stopping by it again and watching another one with me. If you haven't already, make sure to smash that like button, smash that subscribe button if you're not a part of the iTrack fam, and I will definitely catch you on the next one.